locals in parts of Plateau State and Taraba State are appealing to government at all levels to come to their aid due to constant invasion and attacks by herdsmen.
And most recently, security officers have also become targets of the bloodthirsty herdsmen. 3 police officers and 2 vigilante personnel were killed at Bajung Kasua local government area of Taraba State. A community leader in the affected local government said the deceased were killed in an ambush by suspected herdsmen while trying to rescue some kidnapped victims. Meanwhile, the State Police Command has confirmed the incident.
Now, the police public relations officer, ASP David Misal, said the Commissioner of Police has ordered investigation into the attack. Corpses of the security personnel have been deposited at Federal Medical Center in that state. Now, we have joining us the Chairman, Middle Belt Traditional Council, Southwest, Emmanuel Ochi, in the studio right now. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's nice to see you join us right now.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Now, the herdsmen killing, at least Benue is not on the front burner as much as it used to be anymore. But we have Plateau now, we have Taraba State, which are all states in the Middle Belt one way or the other. Now, from your assessment, what do you think is really going on that the herdsmen issue cannot be handled and put behind?
Thank you so much. It is rather unfortunate. And the origin of herdsmen attack in the Middle Belt region and some parts of the country have actually reached an alarming stage. And basically, the attacks by the herdsmen are to forcefully take the land from the farmers. And the reason is to use the land as the cattle colonies. It's unfortunate that government is not doing much to stem this. When these issues came up, it started mildly. Now it has assumed an alarming stage where the indigenes of those states have been displaced, now living in IDP camp, and the government is waking up lately to address this matter. But I think it's now, becoming an issue that is now one might term as beyond them. Because if the headers can now, go head on to attack the security agencies, you can now imagine the alarming situation it is.
It's almost troubling when you say that it looks like this government is even overwhelmed. I wonder what your reaction would be to the statement credited to the Vice President Yemi Osinbajo in Calabar that these herdsmen attacks really predate this administration. Of course, he did, line up different incidences where hundreds and tens and hundreds and dozens of Nigerians have lost their lives in that part of the country. What do you think about the way government is handling it right now, especially with the deployment of, security forces, and in spite of that, security personnel are being killed?
Yes, like I have said, the statement of the Vice President had buttressed my earlier stand that when this herdsmen activity started, the government would have brought together the warring persons, the farmers, and the herders, and really sort out what had been the problem, and then address these issues when it was still at the incubation period. But they did not. They did not. And, over time, when problem starts, it will build up to a level where the warring factions will be preparing themselves for a larger blown up of that problem. And that is where it has gotten to. You can now imagine, herders that used to carry a rod in those days, now
Sticks.
carry, now carry automatic rifles. So you can, and the farmers being there, who they are the owner of the land, the original owners of the land, and they don't expect that somebody from nowhere can come and say, look, you must leave the land for him, for his business purpose. It is really, really a sad issue that, and the government, like I said, is waking up late to address the matter. And already the issues have taken roots, strong roots, and that is why there is strong resistance from the herders.
Okay. Now, like you mentioned earlier on, years ago, a few decades ago, we used to know the Fulani herders only carrying their sticks and rods. And in fact, sometimes the farmers even look forward to their coming because you know they're going to bring fura, they're going to bring nunu, they're going to bring all of those things. Yeah. And then the Fulanis also try to learn the local languages where there's this cordial relationship. I wonder what really went wrong at the time. But the way things are right now, we know that traditional rulers are central when it comes to land, when it comes to being close to the people. What are the roles of traditional rulers in settling these issues? Because you mentioned earlier that you've not seen government trying to bring the warring factions, but the traditional rulers also would have done that from the start.
Yes, basically the role of traditional rulers is to bring people together to live in harmony. I remember when I was growing up in those days, when any route that Fulani passes will always be a happy route because you mix up with them, they give you kunu, they give you fura, and all that. And in those days, we used to be happy. Sometimes you even follow their cow as much as you can before you return, because we're happy doing that. Nobody is against anybody. But suddenly, I don't know what has actually gone wrong, that they have decided that when they get to a place that the farmer must give way for them to occupy. It has never been like that. And one will wonder why this sudden change from the status quo.
And that is what has been troubling the minds of so many people, including government too. I mean, everybody's been like, what exactly is at the core of this turn of events where friends, people who lived together side by side as neighbors, as brothers, all of a sudden now see themselves as enemies? Don't you think that the issue of land, so one part claiming, total control of the land is part of the problem?
I don't think
there is a clear indication that we're all in this together. And when I say we, everybody, both the herders, the farmers, there's climate change going on. Desertification has taken over, parts of the northeast. The Lake Chad basin is drying up and all of that. Don't you think that at the local level, people can come together and say, look, this is a common problem that we're facing here. How do we solve this problem as one? And not necessarily as you are Fulani and I am, Benue and what have you.
Well, I don't think it's a case of somebody claiming in totality the ownership of the land. Yes, the herder will have their cows and they have to graze their cows.
Yes.
But the farmer too have to till the land and grow his crops. None should be allowed to destroy the other. So in those days, when the herders used to pass a route, that route is dedicated to them and they don't allow their cow to stray off the route to go to destroy the farm produce. Then there should be no problem. But where the herder will graze on the farms, of someone. You can imagine.
We heard the Minister of Defense at the time has said that they had built sometimes airports, they've built roads, they've built houses, they've built cities that have blocked all the grazing routes. Yeah. So that is why such kind of grazing is going on.
I don't think that is correct, because if we are not saying that the cattle have destroyed houses and whatever, we are talking about cattle destroying the farm. So I don't think that is
so what solutions are you preferring? I mean, government has said, look, we need to ranch this cattle. Cattle ranching is the way to go. In places like Benue and Taraba, they're saying, no, we cannot seed any land. As a matter of fact, we don't even have land to seed for, for ranching. So it's almost like there seems to be no solution. And based on what you said, it's almost a hopeless solution. No. And if it's hopeless, where do we go from here?
Let me say it this way, my daughter. If you go to Benue today, or Plateau, or Taraba, as an individual, and you want a parcel of land, you could buy.
Okay.
You buy that land, you can use it to build factory, ranch, or whatever you decide to use it for.
Okay.
The issue of either colony or ranching or whatever is not the business of government. So if a herder goes to Benue today and says, I want land, he will definitely have a land to buy. He will buy the land. Whatever he uses the land to do is not no one else's business. But you cannot go and occupy a land without prior consent to the owner of the land, and you say, look, I have taken over the land. There will be resistance. And this resistance has been the bane of problem that have escalated to this level.
Yes. In some quarters, some analysts have argued that the issue on ground now has even gone beyond the issue of land-related issues, because when people who are suspected to be herders have started attacking security agents, it seems like this is not even about farmers, about herders anymore. What has security people got to do with the issue of land? And they have argued that it seems like it's either Boko Haram, rearing its head in another form, or some criminals or some bandits hiding under the guise of herders.
No, I think it has not gone beyond the main issue, which is the basic issue of taking over the land forcefully. Just let me give you this example. If, for instance, your child is playing football outside with the football you bought for him, and someone comes and forcefully take the football from him, and he comes to, he is powerless, he cannot address the matter, and he comes to report to you, Daddy, look, the ball you bought for me, somebody have taken it off from me. And you go out as a father, oh, please, I bought this ball for my child, please give me. And the man said, no, he has already succeeded in taking it from the child, and you come there to take it. If he has to retain it, then he has to attack you, to push you away. That is what is happening.
And in addition to that, the Chief of Army Staff, I think it was in June that he made that statement, that the killings actually have been triggered by external and, internal factors. It really is, confusing. But do you think the governors themselves of Taraba, Benue, and the north-central states, Plateau, are doing enough at their own level to actually solve this problem?
Well, yes or no. But the basic issue here is that who controls the apparatus of security?
Okay, security. Yeah, that question then arises.
And the governors are not allowed to recruit vigilante and equip them. I think in one of the states, the governor tried to do that, and they came and bundled all the vigilantes as maybe one of the suspects of the killing. So how will they address the issue? They are helpless.
Do you have a way out of this problem?
The way out is the clamor for state police should be allowed, so that the governors can really keep a sizable number of people that they can have control over, that they can deploy to crisis zone without recourse to the central police. I think that will help, because if they say a stitch in times saves nine, I think.
Okay, we must thank you very much, Emmanuel Ochi, Chairman, Middle Belt Traditional Council, Southwest. Thank you very much for coming on the program.
Thank you so much for having me.